Now, so far, we've considered potential biological reasons for offending behaviour. And over the next 4 videos, we're going to consider a range of psychological perspectives, meaning offending behaviour is due to internal mental processes. Eysenck suggests it's our personality type. Kohlberg will say criminals have underdeveloped moral reasoning. Sutherland will point to socialisation. And finally, Freud's ideas will be used to suggest childhood experience leads to criminality. So starting this video with Eysenck, criminals just have a certain personality type. Well, what personality type is criminal? And do you have it? Psychboost.com, over 170 videos to help you with your qualification, and Patreon supporters can access bonus resources, tutorial videos, and the Discord channel. So while we are talking about psychological theories of personality here, actually Eysenck's theory does have a biological basis. He thinks personality type is a result of the type of nervous system you have. And that depends on your genetic makeup, so inherited. So if you are asked about biological explanations of offending behaviour, technically you can include Eysenck because of this crossover, but you'd have to really focus on the biological aspect. And honestly, there are more focused biological explanations that we've covered in the previous video. So you might be thinking, what does Eysenck mean? Your personality is due to your nervous system. Well, if you've already covered biopsychology, you know that your nervous system is linked to behaviours, like the fight or flight system. So how easily the nervous system responds to a stimulus, like a threat in the fight or flight response, it's a big influence on our behaviour, potentially making offending behaviour more likely. So according to Eysenck theory, there are 3 dimensions to a person's personality. The first one you're likely to have heard before, extrovert to introvert. Extroverts are of course outgoing, potentially even attention-seeking individuals. Eysenck explains this behaviour as being due to having a constantly under-aroused nervous system. And extroverts are trying to constantly boost the activity of their nervous system with their behaviour. And this could be by taking part in exciting but potentially risky behaviour. Eysenck argues that extroverts are much harder to condition or socialise, and this is because they just don't learn from the mistakes. On the opposite side of the scale are introverts. They have a chronically under-aroused nervous system, so they do what they can to avoid stimulation, not seeking attention. The next personality dimension is neurotic to stable. Neurotic people have very easily triggered nervous systems, so they're anxious and they're really easy to upset. They'll show very obsessive behaviours. On the opposite side of the scale are stable individuals. Their nervous systems are less easily triggered, demonstrating calm behaviour even in really stressful situations. The final personality dimension is psychotism, measured on a scale of low to high. This is about the amount of emotion you feel. A highly psychotic person is emotionally cold, not feeling empathy for other people's suffering. This last psychotism scale was added later on, and while Eysenck thought there would be a standard distribution in the other 2 scales, he expected most people to score low on a rating of psychotism. So the criminal personality type is highly extroverted, highly neurotic, and highly psychotic. The logic is that you have someone who's constantly seeking risky, stimulating activities, not learning from consequences, is very easily triggered into the fight or flight response, the emphasis may be on the fight aspect, and isn't emotionally worried about other people's pain or suffering. Evaluations. Well, is there any evidence? A study by McGurk and Dougal gives some support to Eysenck's theory. They gave 100 convicted inmates and 100 students Eysenck's personality questionnaire. Both the students and offenders were from similar backgrounds, with the students being part of trade-based courses like bricklaying, and all of the participants were between 17 and 20. And it was found, as predicted by Eysenck, that in the delinquent group there were more people with extrovert, neurotic, and psychotic personality types. But there is a problem with Eysenck's theory. Because it assumes that nervous systems are inherited, that means personality will be stable over a lifetime, and just one criminal personality type. And that really doesn't match what we see in the offending figures, with the level of offending up to 10 times higher in adolescence. Moffat provides an alternate personality explanation with a dual taxonomy of offenders. One is life course persistent offenders, people who commit crimes across their lives, and another is adolescent limited, people who stop antisocial behaviour when they reach adulthood. This explanation seems to fit the data a little better. And other modern personality theorists also think only 3 personality dimensions is a little too simplistic. Digman's 5-factor model adds 2 more. Conscientiousness, which is about how much effort you put in to make sure you carry out your responsibilities properly, and agreeableness, which is how friendly you are. Including these as personality dimensions may be a more rounded explanation of criminality, as there are many people who are neurotic and extroverted, but they're not criminal. And finally, supporting Eysenck, there is significant biological evidence that we've covered that offender behaviour is biological, even neural in basis. Eysenck's theory could just be the psychological result of these biological factors. But then we do have all the problems of biological theories of offending behaviour. Is biology destiny? And if you're biologically determined to be a criminal, if you have a certain personality type, say, should we take personality into consideration when handing out prison sentences? Here is a real forensic exam question on Eysenck's theory of the criminal. Why don't you give it a go? I want to give a quick thank you to everyone who supports the channel over on Patreon. And a quick reminder, if you're a PsychBoost patron at the neuron level and above, you can access 6 forensics tutorial videos over on psychboost.com. I'll talk you through a model answer for the exam question, and I'll give you some general tips. Sign-ups patrons can access a principal forensic poster, a 90-question quiz sheet covering the entire unit, and an essay table. And for everyone else, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the videos released right up to your exams. And I'll see you in the next PsychBoost video, Cognitive Explanations of Offending Behaviour.